Now then, I'm having to stand well back for this one. This is quite a big box. This turned up on eBay. I think I was probably searching for Poppy items, but this is actually Bandai, as you can see here, top left. And it was a funny thing because I don't know if you've ever just seen something and just thought, that looks so cool, I really need to try and get it. But I had one of those sorts of moments. And I really don't know a lot about this at all. I've had it for a few weeks now, actually, give or take, and I haven't got it out of the box. So I am unboxing it here with you now to see what it's like. What I can immediately tell from having watched a little intro of it on YouTube is that I've never seen this show that it's derived from. It comes from a show called Space Sheriff Shaider, I believe. Mid-1980s, and apparently the last of these Space Sheriff type shows. Now I'm looking at this and I'm just thinking that these days I'm not even sure this would get made, because look what it transforms into. It's a spaceship, but also a gun with a proper trigger and everything, but also a robot. So this immediately appealed to me as a sort of triple changer kind of guy, but obviously a sort of, I can't even call it, I wouldn't say it's a Power Rangers show, it's a tokusatsu show. So, but it's only got a single hero in it, so it's not like a team show. So it's not like Power Rangers, there's no combination of this, it's just this ship. But the really interesting thing about it is that he calls this ship down, and then he sort of controls it by doing various gestures, which a virtual sort of him then uses to sort of, fire the gun on the ship and that sort of stuff. And the ship is called Vavilos. So the show is Space Sheriff Shaider, and the ship is the Vavilos. And so this is a Godaikin innovative series of super robots by Bandai. Now, so here's the back here. And the box isn't in bad nick. It's quite an interesting one on eBay, because I didn't know how much they went for particularly, but this seemed to be one of the more complete examples that were available of the ones that I was looking at. So we've got a wonderful winged robot that can be transformed into a striking spaceship or a double-barreled space gun. Store some wheels, lift a few parts, push the buttons, and then wow, you've just transformed the mother's spaceship into a wondrous robot, Vavilos. Okay. Now I've lift here and there and a few flips to some parts. You've changed V mothership into a double-barreled space gun. Okay. No batteries required. Recommended for ages 8 years and older. Product and colour may vary from the picture shown for no apparent reason, apparently. So copyright 1984, Bandai America. Okay. And it's got toys, TOEI is mentioned there as well, which is the sort of the TV production company, I believe. So it's supposed to have one Vavilos, which becomes one something else or one something other. 4 large missiles and 5 small missiles. Okay. But it was just the look of the ship that really sort of caught my eye. It reminds me a little bit of Thunderbirds 2086 or Techno Voyager. And I think that because it's 84, it's just beyond the time when Bandai stopped calling sort of die-cast stuff Poppy. So it's actually not a Poppy item because Poppy had been reabsorbed into Bandai at this point. I'm intrigued by the Robo Machine name, because I know what they are, but I wouldn't have said that this was one, simply because of the series it's derived from not being animated. So I'm kind of interested if someone can explain that one to me conceptually. Because I suppose I'm thinking of... Robo Machines aren't the same as GoBots, are they? Because GoBots are Tonka. But I do kind of intermix the two in my head for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. So let's pop it out from the rather mangled box. I say this is the first time I've extracted it. I want to do so without further damaging the box if at all possible, but it's kind of fighting a little bit at the moment. It really doesn't want to come out. Maybe the other way around? Or can I... maybe this was out. Yeah, this will work. There we go. Okay, alright, now let's see what I have and haven't got. Let's see. Let's move forward a little bit and down a little bit. So there we are. Classic polystyrene box, of course, which is standard issue for this particular era. But I love the colours. The colours are popping immediately. Oh wow, I've got dead flying ants and all sorts out of that box. That's beautiful. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Added protein. Okay. I have, I think, one glued in large missile, I suspect. Perhaps I'll just leave that in there. It might be in there for a reason like that. I don't know. I think it's probably just to make sure it doesn't escape anywhere. Let's have a look. Now, I noticed that some of them had these broken off, which is one of the reasons why I went for this one. Now, I think this one's been repaired, actually, looking at it. If I were to guess, it's been repaired. At least one of them, perhaps. Bit of yellowing to the front. Let's just have a look. See, that is cool. That is cool. It's a good size. That's a really nice sort of size in the hand. So I wonder if I can figure out the transformation. Now, another question I have is, what on earth is this doing in this country? If anyone has actually seen this in Britain, you know, the actual show, let me know, because I mean, maybe it was on Sky. I didn't have Sky growing up, so it's possible it was on Sky, and that's why I didn't see it. That definitely looks like it's had some repair to me. It might be more apparent when you're actually watching it. Now then, so if I were to guess, and I am guessing because I can't even see the picture of the robot from here, but I'm guessing that it's a little bit of, I mentioned it's a little bit yellowed, but it's not bad. So we've definitely got feet there, I would imagine. We've got a little landing gear there, which is cool. I'm not sure if that's supposed to do anything. Is that? Ah, there we go. Okay, yeah, they were possibly locking the legs in position there. Okay. And the legs probably may not come any more apart than that. I don't want to risk pushing it. Although actually, oh yeah, there we go. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'm intuiting this for all I'm worth here. That one looks like it ought to come further. Yeah, there you go. I'm not brute forcing it. I'm just using what I think is a reasonably sensible amount of force. Now then, are you going to stand up? No, I don't think you are you? Let's have a look at this. I'm just wondering if I can get these feet any more underneath it, or am I misinterpreting that? Does it need to come up and over? I might refer back to the box on this one in a second, because what I don't want to do is stand him up and have him... you can see where the... I think those are his gun ports in there, or possibly just his jets. Yeah, I'm not going to mess with that too much, because... Okay, so he kind of wants to stand still like that. Possibly. Okay. Now then, arms. I don't think he has the most... let me just move this back a bit so you can see a bit more what I'm doing. I don't think he's got the most obvious arms, if I remember rightly. Yeah, so the arms are actually tucked away in here. But it's clever place to put them. Again, I do not want to fragment anything. Okay, that's it. That's going to come clear now. That's it. So I think they literally just... there we go. So I think they literally just do this. I'm not actually sure where this... Maybe like that. I think these were some of his main weapons from the show as well. So he's got some wingtip blasters. So if I were to guess, it probably is intended to work like that. That's okay, that makes perfect sense as these things go. Anyway, don't want to break that. There we go, so that brings that down. So you want to come round. There you go. Okay, that's pretty cool. It's got a little... Now this is a sort of robot head exactly what's it. So how do I do this one, I wonder? I don't know why I'm pressing this down here. I've got no idea what this is supposed to do. Let's see. Oh yeah, okay. There's definitely this. Does this rotate out, do we think? Does this rotate out? Doesn't seem to want to at the moment. Hang on, is he attached? That's a proper unboxing this, sans instructions, so I'm very, very wary of. I'm just trying to see whether or not this wants to slide out or whether it sort of flips out. It can't get clearance to flip out, and I'm very conscious that he's got ears here which are going to snap if I do something silly to him. They go up to form his tail. They actually go up to form the tail of the jet. So I think they were probably in the wrong position when I got it out of the box. Got a little bit of discoloration there actually, but that side's not so bad. Now then, let's have a look here. Is that actually doing anything? There's a little, I don't know what that one was for, or what that released, but perhaps I did something that needed release that I hadn't released, I don't know. I just want to be able to slide it. It looks as if it slides out from here, but never having done this before, I don't know how to do it. I think I'm just going to fiddle with it off camera for a moment. And after a surprising amount of effort, I finally managed to get his head out. I mean, it's got a nice little bit of detail on it. It's got a decal actually right on the top of it. I think the problem with it was that it just sort of it kind of flips out, you know, from that angle onto the flat. But the ratchet mechanism is really strong to hold it in place once it's upright. So you really have to sort of be brave. And I literally just sort of yanked it up and back by its ears, which fortunately are quite soft plastics. Then they're not brittle. So I was able to pull them back successfully without breaking anything else off, which was always a bonus. So as I understand it, his head doesn't actually do anything else. It's basically it's there and that's about it. So that's as much as happens with his head. This is for a different mode. I was just wrestling with that to try and see if I could get access to anything else. If I had small missiles, they would fire out of here, and I've also just learnt that the button for that action is here on the side. So if you were to press that element in there, the missile would shoot out, and the same on the other side there. So don't have any of those, so I can't show you that functionality, unfortunately. But you know, such is life. Obviously, one of the first things that would get lost from his particular setup. So that is him in robot mode. Now, my understanding is that this would have been. Is he going to stand up? Please stand up. He would have been classed as a DX. The Godaikin name means that they didn't have a sort of a backup cartoon. But of course, I do know that he did have a backup live series. But I guess, you know, maybe it's because he wasn't that central a character, being just the ship. But that's why he ends up getting called what he gets called. So he's a Godaikin. But yeah, I mean, he is what he is. He's not massively articulated or anything like that, obviously. But he's only got a little bit of die cast to him. Most of that is plastic, so he's not as heavy as I was in a sense expecting. But he's still a classic sort of mid-80s robot. I'm just getting ready to grab him because any second now he's going to try and do a death dive on me. So let's see. Having just watched a video on YouTube to try and figure out how to transform his head, I think I can now transform him into his pistol mode. So I'm going to give that a go for you. So these would then form the sights for the pistol mode, apparently, and also would be the sort of the deck in the sort of space cruiser mode. So the feet go all the way back like this. I think you have to push the legs back together again. Yeah, and they they fold all the way back there like that. Interestingly, that they're amongst the more metal bits, these elements down the bottom here. I don't know if they actually sort of click together at all. It feels like they ought to hold in place a bit more than they do, perhaps. But I think they've basically got to go all the way back like that, as far as you can get them, and fold them down. So then you've got obviously the sort of the cannons at the front there. I assume that's as far as it's going to go. Now apparently the top tip here, if you fold the arms back up and in, and this is all very sensible. I mean, it's not hard, difficult to do at all. So apparently what you do is you bring this out here, so the trigger is nestling inside the body. So that's very clever. It's a very clever piece of hiding away. Now, if you've ever had G1 Megatron Transformers, all this might be seeming a little bit familiar, because this is not dissimilar to. Oh, I feel like Ratchet. It's not dissimilar to what Megatron did in terms of his legs sort of forming the stock of the stock. I mean stock, the grip of the gun basically. So that comes down there like that. That one comes down there like that. They more or less lock together. That's going to be a little bit sloppy, and that's better. So you've got that sort of solidly there now, and now you've got a reasonably functioning pistol, space pistol, if you will. Now, those are moving. I don't know if you're supposed to sort of bring those back or they stay extended officially, but that is the basic gist of it. It's weird because these little bits here are die cast, obviously to give it some strength, I think, on the hinges, but then the rest of it is yellow and plastic, unfortunately. Kind of a shame, because if they'd made it completely added a little bit more die cast to it, I bet it would have made it that much more durable. I'm still slightly puzzled over how these feet are. You see, these feet aren't quite sort of equal in level there. It's kind of strange. But I've got absolutely no instructions whatsoever on how to do it properly. But you can see how breaky these elements here would have been. They're very, very in the way whenever you're doing anything with it. So they would have been lost in 2 seconds flat. It's no wonder, really. But I like it as a concept. The fact that you get 3 play forms out of it, I think is to be commended. And it's a good size. It's just interesting that it doesn't say DX on the box anywhere that I could see. But if it's for the American market, that might be why. So they may just have chosen to market it in a slightly different fashion. So I think I'm going to take it back to its sort of spaceship form now. Because I'm not sure I really had a good look at that when it was as I was taking it out. I was too keen to get to robot mode. I'm just trying to make sure I don't twist it where it's not supposed to twist. For some reason this side is giving me more. Oh yeah, I mean the joints are really stiff. There's nothing wrong with the joints on it at all. So you can see it's got all these little sort of landing gear here, just sort of tucked away inside it, which is nice, and down the bottom here as well. So again, Bandai attention to detail, it's always there. So I guess these guys just go. This now folds straight down, as does that. And this just goes straight back up, it says. In fact, I think yeah. So I think these are just sort of little releases that lock the legs in place. So once you've pushed them down, you can get things moving more easily. So that's the underside there. And then we're left with that on top. But when I saw the sort of the Space Cruiser mode, I just thought, yeah, that's right. That's right in my ballpark, as the Americans say. Is that one? Or as I prefer to say, my wheelhouse. That was the word I was looking for, was wheelhouse. So yeah, it's just, I definitely would have gone for that as a kid. I definitely would have gone for this as a kid. There's no two ways about it. It's just a very, very nice spaceship and robot and gun. I mean, it's great. If it just had that little bit more metal content, I I don't know. I mean, I suppose it would have made it heavy for a kid to then run around with, and possibly more dangerous for a kid to run around with. So maybe that would be a downside. I don't know. I mean, you just sort of wonder what these considerations were, you know, when they were designing these. Do they go for the durability? You know, what's the priority for them? I don't know, because I suppose the heavier they get, the more it costs to ship them somewhere as well. But it is a very, very cool mid-80s Japanese adventure toy, you know. I definitely would have liked that when I was little. But again, you see, I have no idea how this would have come to be here, being apparently an American version of it. I mean, obviously it's in English because it's an American version, but I can't see anything on here that suggests that it was like what it's not mentioning Bandai UK, which I've seen mentioned on other Bandai products that have been brought in by them into the UK. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. Kind of interesting how this one came to be for sale on eBay, unless it's just, you know, obviously, you know, a collector who had it and it's just coming to someone else's hands to offload. But I don't know, I like the little details here. It's got little sort of tail fins there, like these at the top there. I mean, those are just, you know, if they were, I mean, arguably they'd be better off being metal, but I really doubt they are. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I mean, they're so bendy. I think they've been fixed. I think they've snapped just before the thinner pieces. And this is a classic example of yellowing. And I've discovered this is due to a chemical that they used to make the plastic less flammable, called bromine. And apparently it's that causes this reaction that causes white plastic from this era to yellow. Which is a great shame, because when you get metal that's white and right next to it, you can really see the difference. But it's not chronically yellowed at all. I quite like the fact they've gone to the sort of orangey cockpit plastic there as well. I think that's a nice touch, because they could have just left that as a, you know, featureless basically. Got good stickers on it and everything else as well. So I mean, I think you know, overall this seems to be in really good condition for its age. Assuming you actually had to apply the stickers yourselves, they seem to have done pretty well. So yeah. Apparently it's also turned up in, some of the elements of the series turned up in VR Troopers, and I think that was an English language Sentai show, I think. So it may be that, you know, so if this seems vaguely familiar to you, it might be because it's from VR Troopers. But again, not a show I was massively familiar with, I don't think. But as with many of these shows, that, you know, it reused content from other Japanese shows, so that's probably where that one came from. But yeah, as ever, do like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you think of this one. Cheers for now.